Are you ready to alter your life? Because that's what's about to happen. If you're looking for a judgment-free zone where TMI doesn't exist, to have the conversations you're not supposed to have, and explore how to make small yet substantial, sustainable changes in your life to actually care for and empower yourself through physical and emotional fitness, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Alyssa Alter, MOMDON, the Amy Poehler of vaginas, author, speaker, coach, former Broadway performer, certified Pilates instructor, pelvic health expert, comedian, co-founder of postpartum.com, mom on the mend, and board certified doctor of nothing. I believe that if we put as much time, energy, and discipline on our insides as we do our outsides, we'll be unstoppable.
Welcome back. Today's conversation is so fun, which maybe you weren't expecting me to say when we know going in that this episode is about like how do you love your body when you don't love how it looks in the mirror, and talking about turning down the volume of self-criticism. Like usually we don't think of fun when that's what we're talking about, but Meagan Fitzgerald is fun. It's impossible not to have fun talking to her about, in my experience, anything. I was recently a guest on her podcast, Resting Bliss Face, which you should totally check out. And we had a phenomenal conversation about the power of knowing what the fuck is going on with your vag. And if you know me, you know that I really believe there's a lot of power in knowing what the fuck is going on with your vag. I really do believe that if we connect to our pelvic floor, if we know where our vagina is pointing, if we know what our vulva looks like, and we could pick it out from a lineup, not that I'm suggesting there should be a lineup of vulvas. Now I'm thinking about, was that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? There was an episode, wasn't that? It was that season, that branch of Real Housewives where the one woman talked about a stack of vaginas. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, I'm just saying, if you really know your body, and specifically the pelvic floor, which if you're coming from the Pilates world, like this is the foundation of your powerhouse and everything comes back to working from your powerhouse. And if you come from any other world, this is still the foundation of your core strength, physically and energetically. Yet we've been conditioned to be embarrassed by it, disgusted by it, ashamed of it, not talk about, and basically ignore this very integral part of our anatomy. If we let go of that shame and actually get to know our bodies and become fluent in what our normal is and what we know to be true about our body, the world is going to have to become comfortable with it too. And when we are comfortable with our bodies and know what's going on, we can self-advocate in the doctor's office, in the boardroom, and of course, in the bedroom, which is why I am hosting, I am running, we are having my free 5-day pelvic floor challenge again, which if you haven't signed up for it yet, it is not too late. It's right there on my homepage at alyssalter.com. Please note, Alyssa is spelled with an I, ALISSA. ALTER. I know you know that. I know you see that. But even still, I get emails where my email address is like Alyssa Alter and it's spelled with a Y, and I don't take offense to it. It's just if you put that website in, you will not end up at my website and you will not find the space when you scroll down just a little bit to sign up for the free 5-day pelvic floor challenge, which is the beginning of your path to stronger muscles, better sex, and confident sneezes, because let's be real, that is not always the case, and we deserve that. So go ahead, sign up, share the love, share it with a friend. And I say that because, yes, I want everyone in the whole wide world to sign up. And by sharing this episode of the podcast, this challenge, one of my reels about pelvic health, by sharing this content and opening up that conversation with a friend, having that conversation is an important step to all of us reclaiming what is already ours, our bodies, right? Our bodies are up. Oh God, they are a topic of conversation. Our autonomy is threatened constantly. And we need to recognize that, own that, and take the power back. And that, I really do believe, starts in our own body. And then it has to go out of there. We have to then radiate out and talk about this with other people, start advocating for ourselves, because every single time a woman advocates for herself, she is advocating for all women. And that includes with your pelvic floor health. That includes how you respond when you look at your gorgeous body, as different as it may be than you remember. I am talking about myself. And and what we do have control over, how we can hear that self-criticism in our minds, and we can control the volume knob. I was going to say volume button, but it's not a button. The volume dial, the volume, I don't know, the word's escaping me, but you know what I'm talking about. You are picking up what I am laying down, because as women, right, we have been conditioned to be ashamed of our bodies, to be disgusted by ourselves, to be embarrassed, to isolate. And because we are conditioned to exist for others, to please, serve, and submit to others. And I think that's trash. And I think you think that's trash, because if you didn't think that was trash, I am unsure why you would be listening to this podcast. But let me know. Comment, email me. I want to hear from you. Okay, so in this episode, we are going to be talking about letting go of the internalized beliefs that when people look at us, they should see something pleasing for them, that we are here to please other. We talk about how flattering, right? Like finding clothes that are flattering. This feels flattering, actually means small, that we are not supposed to take up space. And therefore, if we are to take up space physically, energetically, in any way, shape, or form, that would be unflattering. How we can decide when to turn the volume up or down of our self-criticism without turning to toxic positivity. We don't need to make that criticism go away or punish it. It's not bad. But we can turn the volume down on that and turn the volume up on other things that are also true. And then something I love in this conversation with Meagan is talking about, right, if we have this internalized belief that, which, I mean, we all do to some degree, or I don't know, maybe you don't. And that's amazing. And I want you to keep that. And someone around you definitely has this internalized belief that we need to be pleasing to others, and how we can shift around this, how we can create change around this by asking ourselves, who are we pleasing? Who am I pleasing? Is it someone else or myself? And then we also talk about, this is my favorite part, I really struggle with the word mindset. Like, I love it, but like a mindset shift. I've said this before about other things. It's just sometimes in the wellness, self-help, motivational, fitness, I don't know, in this world, there are like words that just become so overused that suddenly I'm like, I don't know what that means anymore. And now I feel like it means a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't mean right now. I think the example I've used before is like when you say the word cucumber like 1,000 times, suddenly you're like, what does that even mean? And it means, it's a vegetable. Or is it a fruit? That's not the topic of the conversation. Anyway, I am going to stop rambling. I'm going to remind you one more time to get on it and sign up for the free 5-day pelvic floor challenge, your path to stronger muscles, better sex, and confident sneezes. This challenge, it's 5 days of emails with videos and or calls to action that take 5 minutes or less that are to bring awareness, teach you something, give you something to think about, talk about that you can integrate into your day. This isn't something that's going to like take over your life and make things difficult. This is an invitation to explore, to connect to your body and to your pelvic floor. It is safe and impactful if you are pregnant, if you are postpartum, if you are neither of those things and do not want to become those things. If you have a pelvic floor, this is for you. And as always, with anything and anything physical, when you are experiencing pelvic floor dysfunction or a medical issue or pregnancy or postpartum, if something does not feel right in your body, you listen to that. Safety first. And I mean that physically and I mean that emotionally. And if you are early postpartum, check with your care provider. This is not, I just want to remind you, this is like Pilates for your privates, not CrossFit for your privates. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, alyssa@alyssa-alter.com, and I will get back to you. You can DM me on Instagram @AlyssaAlter. Okay, I said I would stop with the rambling. We're going to get on with the show. I cannot wait to share Meagan Fitzgerald and this conversation with you. And make sure to check her out at meaganfitzgerald.com. It's MEAGAN Fitzgerald, or on Instagram, she's Meg Fitz, MEGFITZ .Gerald, because as she says, everyone is named Meagan Fitzgerald. All of this is also in the show notes, and I cannot wait to share this conversation with you, and I cannot wait to see you in your inbox for the 5-day pelvic floor challenge. Mwah! Okay, Meagan, this is a dream come true. I had such a great time on your show, Resting Bliss Face. And I really like the title of the episode, The Power of Knowing WTF is Going On with Your Vag. Genius. And I feel like also is like the thesis of everything that I do. So also thank you for gifting me my thesis as I work on my book proposal. You know that that's going to show up in there.
Listen, happy to help. I am happy to help and honored to be the tiny part of that. Yes. The power of knowing WTF is going on with your vag. Like, beautiful. Thank you for coming on my podcast. You couldn't see everybody listening that I was smiling ear to ear because it's just such a joy to talk to you.
I feel the same way about you. And I know we've had such a great response from that episode, which I encourage you listening to check out and check out all of Meagan's work, and is another reason why I'm excited for any reason to make contact with you, Meagan, but also why I'm so excited to have you on the show and share you and your brilliance with my people.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Before we dive into what we plan to talk about today, you mentioned that you brought a show and tell, more of a tell, but also a show and tell. Guys, it is not her vagina. I am not qualified to look at your vagina in,
nope.
That's not what we're doing here. We just talk about it.
I tried on the last episode. You were like, no.
I do not have clearance for that. That's not what I'm not going to pretend I do. I don't. I will direct you to someone who can help you out. So meanwhile, as we're talking about this, I literally went to a urogynecologist yesterday to basically show her my parts and have her tell me I'm okay. So I'm also just saying that, like, I am not immune either. As much as I talk about the female anatomy, I too need a professional to tell me that I'm okay.
Yeah.
Even though I knew, I'm like, but I'm not a doctor.
100%. 100%. Yeah. It's like when you feel like absolute crap and you're like, oh, I think I have the flu. And then you just get the little flu test and they're like, yeah, you have the flu. You're like, yeah, I know. But you just need a professional.
Yes.
Right? Fine.
Right.
Yeah. I have a show.
Show and tell.
Yep. I mean a tell. I have a tell. I don't have a show because this is a podcast. I will show you. And I'll try and paint the picture, right? Theater of the mind. But this was... This was a DM that I got from one of my like beloved people in my sphere, in my world. Her name is Maggie, and she says, I'm going to read this review for the first time to you, Alyssa. Girl, ... girl in all caps. That last podcast was fire, all caps with 1, 2, 3, 5 fire emojis. Okay. Girl, that last podcast was fire for so many reasons. I have so many thoughts, so bear with me. First, as an adolescent medicine nurse practitioner who focuses on adolescent gynecology, thank you for starting the conversation and normalizing vaginas. It's so funny how many women can't even say the word vagina. I start this with my patients very early and try to get them to understand our vaginas are magic and powerful, and we need to feel proud, not ashamed or embarrassed. Secondly, thank you for normalizing all the postpartum stuff, from sex to pelvic floor to tearing. Just loved all of it, and I am here for it. Thank you for being you and for giving us permission to be us version 2.0 and all. Love you. Isn't that amazing?
Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that feels really good.
It was sent to me, but I feel like that should have been sent directly to you, because this is what you do, and like all of that directed towards you. Like, thank you for starting this conversation, for normalizing, for putting it out there and not having it be like this taboo, like gross, nasty thing like we don't talk about. It's magic.
Well, and this is something, it is magic. And it is like, we are in a unique position where we are, I mean, well, I guess every generation is between two generations. That's not the unique part. The unique part being like our parents' generation, there wasn't a space to talk about this. Mm-hmm. You did not talk about this. You just didn't. And you just tolerated and accepted and went along with it and pretended everything was fine because that's what you do. And we have this opportunity where we can really change that about our bodies. And what really, like, I don't know, maybe I will start. I'm like surprised I'm not already crying. Maybe I will cry, or maybe I'm just not going to cry about it right now. Maybe it'll hit me later. But that, like, this person who DM'd you, this woman that DM'd you, works in adolescent gynecology, and that, like, it resonating with her, like, it's us, when we talk about it now as adults and we model normalizing our bodies in all their glory, in all of their variations, all of them, we're making that what kids get to do, what the women younger than us get to do, what the adolescents who feel so weird in those weird bodies, because it's all weird, except it's not weird. It's perfect. It's exactly what's happening, but it's super weird. And make it okay for them to ask questions and talk about this. And that then allows them to speak up for themselves at the doctor, ask a question, admit if something's itchy, or ask if it's normal, which then feeds into when they choose to have a partner, express what feels good, what does not feel good, what they like, what they don't like. And I mean, it just builds from there. And like, us doing this now changes the future.
1000%.
So it's not, and it changes our experience, which is awesome, but it's so much bigger than that. That's why, like, it is not selfish to take care of yourself.
It is not selfish on so many levels. It is necessary on so many levels. And yeah, the way you speak about modeling in terms of like our body parts and vaginas and normalizing all of this is like, that's kind of what I do. And I tell my clients to do when they talk to me about like, my daughter's not confident. I'm like, well, are you confident? Do you model confidence? Do you model loving your body? Do you model, taking care of yourself, your eating habits? Like, it all starts with us. It all starts with us and to each other. We get to model confidence and normalizing and all of this for each other, for our peers and for the next generation.
And yeah, I love that you brought in like also for our peers. Like, I know I get that feedback a lot. I recently posted a reel from this past summer of me dancing on the beach in a bikini. And I'm going to be honest with you. I took that video because I felt really self-conscious and I did not feel good about how my body looked. And I was like, I'm taking this video for myself because I will not, like, I refuse to let myself stay here. Like, yes, this is a body I don't recognize. Yes, this is not the body I had before I had a baby and I was dancing professionally and all of those things. And this is my body and I love it. And what, I'm not going to dance on the beach and have a great time when I'm living my best life? And I'm really uncomfortable with this and somewhat horrified. And I also can look at it objectively and be like, about what?
Right.
Your body looks great. And I feel terrible. And it's a lot of mental gymnastics. And it just the other day, I was like, oh, it's time for that video. I was like, I'm posting it. And I still, like, I look at it and I'm super critical of myself. And I'm like, why are you doing this? You don't feel this way about bodies, you know, but it's this constant negotiation. But I really am committed to not punishing myself for having these feelings, but also not letting those like internalized external expectations run the show.
Exactly. So this is just like programming that has been, you know, it's almost like a microchip was implanted in us from birth, whether it's hearing our mothers or people in our lives talking about losing weight or seeing, you know, back in the day, I remember like Cosmo and YM magazine and like best bathing suits for your body types to hide things. And even that could seem like, oh, the most flattering thing. Flattering means what makes you look the smallest in general, right? Like we can wear stripes. We can wear big blousy things. I don't need to look small. I don't care.
Wait,
Ready?
Pause. You can wear stripes. We can wear stripes.
We can wear horizontal, vertical, big ones, little ones. You can wear stripes.
Well, you can wear stripes. I mean, I wanted to pause on that because, like, duh, of course I can wear stripes, but also we're not supposed to wear horizontal stripes.
Don't wear horizontal stripes because you look wider. God forbid you look wider. Why is that bad? Oh, because it's not pleasing to the male gaze or somebody else's gaze? Like, I'm sorry, what?
But also, like, which male gaze? Right? Like, I mean, how many times have I gotten dressed in something that, like, you know, was like on trend or whatever. My husband's like, why are you wearing that? Like, I don't like it. And I'm like, it's in fashion. And he's like, women are so weird. Like, you guys dress for each other. Like, I don't like that. And it's like, wait, then whose male gaze is this for? If it's, what's happening? I just want to wear horizontal stripes.
And we can, Alyssa. I think this comes down, like, at this stage, right, we're with partners that we love and they love us. And if my husband doesn't really like big blousy poofy things, but like I do. I love like a feminine poofy shoulder. Like I love a statement shoulder, right? But he's not like a poofy guy.
Statement shoulder.
Love a statement shoulder. But he likes a streamline, right? But he's not going to love me less if I wear that. But it is ingrained in us that if we don't look a certain way, or if we're not a certain size, or if we're not wearing something flattering, then we're not appealing to other people. And then it's on us to please the people. When they look at us, they should look at us and see something pleasing. Our hair should be done. Our face should be done. We should wear flattering clothing. And it seems so innocent. The most flattering outfit for your shape seems so innocent. But then when you break it down, you're like, that ain't it. I don't want to.
No, and I love what you said because it's so true. And flattering means small.
Yes. Right.
It doesn't, that's what it means. And this is, I keep coming around to this just in, like, again, with myself and my own body. It's like, wait a minute. I have been literally my entire life been trying to be seen and heard, to take up the space that I take up. That's why I'm loud. That's why I was a comedian. That's why I was in theater. Like, look at me. Here I am. Put a spotlight on me. I know all of you. You're a captive audience. I know you're looking at me, right? And then so I want to be big and, right, like a big energy. But then my body's bigger and now it's bad. So I'm getting what I want. I'm actually taking up more space. And now suddenly it's bad because I'm supposed to take up space, but not actually literally physically take up space because I'm supposed to be smaller. And then if I do actually literally take up more space physically. I should wear the things that make me appear small because God forbid I actually take up the space that I'm supposed to take up, because now I'm threatening those men whose gazes I'm supposed to be pleasing. Ooh.
It's deep, girl. Right?
It is deep.
It is deep. And even me. So we let those thoughts be there, right? We're not trying to combat them. I don't want the message to come across like we look in the mirror and we go, oh, I'm in a bigger body. You're not going to go from, oh my God, I don't like this body, to I love this body, right? Like sometimes those judgmental thoughts are going to be there again because it's programming, but we get to control the volume. So you can turn the volume down on those thoughts and learn to cultivate new thoughts. Something like, it's okay to take up space. It's okay that I'm in a bigger body. I'm learning to love this body. How can I nurture and nourish this body now? So for me, I'm a life coach, right? But I also teach classes. And now it used to be, I was teaching at Equinox and there would be 80 girls behind me. And I did this through two different pregnancies. My last one was during the pandemic. And now I'm all online. And I see myself in a bit of a bigger body. And I see the video. I have my eyes on it and I am super critical of myself. And it's like oh my God, how can you be a fitness instructor? Your abs haven't healed yet. It looks a little pudgy. Like, who do you think you are? And those thoughts are in me. They're in my brain. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Because you have the microchip too.
I've been chipped.
You've been chipped.
But I get to turn the volume down on that and decide on purpose. I'm still an example of health and wellness. I'm still helping people be stronger in mind and body. This was still a great workout for myself. This will serve the members of my community. I'm excited about this workout and I feel really good. Right? And that's going to keep me moving forward, keep me doing more videos, keep me serving more people, growing my membership, growing the business, all of that stuff. Whereas, oh my God, my stomach looks like a disaster. Shut it down. Keeps me hiding. Yeah.
Well, yes. And that also connects to what we started with, like normalizing the conversation about our bodies. What the variety of bodies that we have. And some part of this chip and the programming is that, like, I guess I'd say it's maybe around 25, right? That is the body we are to fight for and maintain for the rest of our lives. Like, we're not allowed physically, we're not really supposed to evolve past 25. And if we do, we need to address it in every and any way, shape, or form. And this is not a judgment on people who address things. You have to do you. I just want you making your decision, not you making a decision because of this external crap that's not yours.
Exactly.
I want you to make it from your own crap, not somebody else's crap.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like being really clear about that. But it's like, there's also, and like, I've seen this with my clients. I've seen this with my clients who are in their 80s. I have seen this with my clients who turn 30. I see this with everyone. That, like, our bodies keep changing. That's a fact, right? Whether or not, as women, whether or not you have children, our hormones change. We are in the sun more. We do more moves and things. Gravity is real. My boobs used to be up here. Now they're down here. I mean,
same.
You know, like, all of those things, though, are, I don't even want to say normal. Like, they are a given. This is this is the exchange for being around longer.
Yes.
Like, we're here. These are the things that are going to happen. But part of this chip is this idea that we can freeze time there. Now, listen, when I was 25, I was, according to these external expectations, smoking hot. Smoking hot. I think I weighed 109 pounds. I had an 8-pack. I had just booked the tour of Chorus Line. I had just married my ex-husband. I was an idiot. And I was smoking hot. There is nothing about that time in my life that I want to freeze and continue living.
Right.
Sure, that smoking hot body served me really well at that time. It was also a direct result of being a professional dancer.
Right.
But, like, I'm a completely different person now.
Right.
And I'm so glad that I am, that I've evolved and grown and changed. But that's not supposed to apply to my actual physical body that I live in all the time.
Exactly. Men get better looking as they age is what we're told, but not women. Well, that's just a decision that we made, that we don't look as beautiful as we age, right? And that men get to. So there's nothing more natural, more normal than bodies changing. Everything that is alive changes and ages. I'm looking outside my window, the trees, right?
They're changing.
Everything's every single thing that is alive changes. But we put this on ourselves that we're not supposed to change. We're supposed to have that ideal body. We're supposed to freeze our faces. I mean, no shade to Botox. I want to get mine again soon. But like, we're supposed to do, right?
Right. But we're not supposed, we're not supposed to. It's almost like we're not allowed to be okay with if maybe we don't want to get it.
Yep. Which it's like, oh, wow.
Get it or don't get it. I'm not saying, like, again, this is not a judgment on that. It's just that it's like, no, you have to now. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, you don't, actually.
Not at all. Not just like you can wear the horizontal.
You get to decide what makes you feel your best.
Exactly. You get to decide. For you. And so I'm going through something right now. I mean, I mentioned like my body and the whatever. My mom had a fall recently. She fell and broke her pelvis in multiple places, like right outside of my house, and terrible, and her tailbone, and she's, rehabbing and doing all of the things. And this was a major catalyst for me. I'm healthy. I teach Pilates, I teach bar, like I'm strong. But I had this like flip of a switch, like, no, I want to be so freaking strong. I want to get my eating in check. I want to pause on the drinking. I want to get my body as like strong as it possibly can be, so that if something ever happens to me later, it's not because I wasn't trying, right? It's not because like if my kids ever have to take care of me, it's not because I wasn't doing everything in my power to be healthy. And the byproduct of that is I am going to be smoking hot, right? Because I'm changing my eating habits.
Right. And also you're already smoking hot.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. No shade to my body. Like, I love this body so much. And I know we want to touch on this too. It's like, loving your body and wanting to change it at the same time is totally possible. Totally possible.
Right. And that's without recognizing that both of those things can coexist. That's where we run into that like toxic positivity, or like it's just punishing in either direction. And that's not, we don't have, there's like enough going on. Like we don't need to make it worse on ourselves.
Right. So normally we shame ourselves into a diet, or it's because we hate the way we look and we think we need to look a different way. But we don't need to. We just can. For example, I stepped on the scale the other day and it was 3 pounds heavier than like I was 2 weeks before that. The scale used to own my brain. I used to be obsessed with it. Now I stepped on the scale and literally said to myself, like, oh, wow, I haven't been treating you well, body. That's it. I've been eating chips and hummus for dinner rather than like an actual meal. Not every night, but like sometimes, right? Yeah. That's not ideal. I need an actual meal, right? I've been having 2 glasses of wine a few days a week versus like maybe 1 or 2. And that's not ideal for my body, how I want to feel.
Right. And for you, exactly, like for you to feel and operate at your best, which it sounds like between what's going on with your mom, and you have 3 beautiful daughters.
Thank you.
The demands in your life demand that you show up, and you want to feel good doing that and feel like, yes, like, and I was not only able to show up for the people who need me, that included me.
Exactly. I have to show up for myself.
Right? Like I got to be part of that too. And I think, I mean, I want to hear from you on this, like that shift in our approach, which, you might say mindset shift, but sometimes I get like a little like, I can't say mindset shift. Everybody's saying mindset shift. It's like starts to like, what does it even mean? But like literally this shift in perspective of, okay, I have to clean up my diet. I'm not going to drink as much. I'm going to insert the things that we know make all of us feel better. Drink more water, get enough sleep, move our bodies, all of these things. This isn't because oh, I was bad and did these things. Oh, I was this.
Yeah.
It's, wow, I'm investing in my future. And that doesn't mean I can't do things that feel really great right now. It doesn't mean right now doesn't get to feel good. And when you're choosing between, you know, sticking a straw in the bottle of wine at the end of the day, or going to bed, waking up early, going for a walk in nature, listening to Resting Bliss Face, you know, the usual way you want to start your day, that you do that because you say, you know what? I really actually right now, it's more about the investment in my future. Being 100%. Able to take a fall and have an appropriate recovery, like a smooth recovery, not to say it won't hurt,
right, yeah,
but to really fully recover, to be 75 rolling around on the floor with my grandkids and not peeing in my pants. Right? Like, I mean, who needs the 8-pack?
Right.
For what?
For what? I'm like, it's under there somewhere.
You can still dance on the beach in your bikini without one.
Yep. And the beautiful thing is, like, you can wear a bikini. A bikini body is like anybody with a bikini, right? Like, that's it. That's it. And the mindset shift, like, I probably use mindset too much. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
it works.
I get
just
you.
Sometimes get weird about it.
That's how I feel about journey. I don't like the word journey. Right.
Well, also, like, what are we on The Bachelorette? Also, like, should we be on The Bachelorette? Ugh, I'm married now. I can't. Leave me alone. So the mindset shift is like coming at it from a place of like, oh, I get to nurture and nourish my body versus I'm going to deprive and beat myself up and I suck and I'm ugly and I'm fat. Right? It's a totally different shift. Like, your body is just your body. Your body is a neutral, right? So right now I could be talking shit about my body because I've gained weight. I have more, literally fat around my stomach, adipose tissue, like just a little more tissue on my abs, right? But I could be saying it's gross. It's all of these things. And I could, you know, beat myself up and hate myself into trying to get results, but those results never stick. Versus, what's going on? Is my cortisol level super high? Like, spoiler alert, it's really high. I've had it tested. It's really high. Right? Am I getting enough sleep? No. Blame Goldie. Am I doing the best thing for my body in the morning? No. There are ways that I can navigate this, that I become like a partner working hand in hand with my body. I don't believe there's a mind-body connection. I believe they're the same. They're one, right? So it's like, it just Thank you. Descartes, I love you, but you're wrong.
Right, like it is the same thing, right?
Yes.
So if I can nurture and nourish my way into new habits, a new way of thinking about things creates new feelings. The feeling is going to be like, okay, motivated and empowered versus discouraged and shameful. And think about the actions that you do from a place of motivation and being empowered versus shame. Very different actions. Those create lasting results. That's what I'm here for.
Yes.
Right.
And I love what you said, like with a new thought comes new feelings. Like, when you're doing something that's completely brand new, like, I mean, you can, but it's like, there may not, like, your old feelings don't go there. This is a new place. So there's going to be new stuff.
Right. Yeah. If the thought
I love that.
Right? I get to nurture and nourish my body. When I think I get to nurture and nourish my body, I feel like peace and empowered. Right? That's a different feeling than, oh my God, I'm so fat. I gained weight. I can't believe I did this to myself. Very different feeling.
I mean, in every way.
Right.
And that's so, I love this, because we came into this episode with the intention of talking about just this, but we were also like, we're going to follow with fun, because that's what we do. Of, how do we love our bodies even if we're unhappy with what it looks like, or we don't like what our body looks like? How do we still love our body? Because these two things are going to coexist. We're always bouncing around between the two and navigating both of them. And it sounds like, from what you've said, but correct me if you have something else, like, even simply asking the question, as opposed to like, what do I need to do to fix this? Right? Is, what do I need to nurture and nourish my body?
Yeah. Or how can I nurture?
How can I? Yeah.
Right. Right. And the bigger piece of this, I think, before you even get to the nurture and nourish and like that piece of it, is to understand that to perceive your body as flawed is a choice.
Mic drop.
Thank you. That's a choice. So for me to talk shit about my body and say I have too much fat in my middle, well, I'm probably somebody's goal weight. Like, this is a choice for me to perceive it that way. I don't have to. I don't have to do anything about it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We like this one. Yeah, it's a choice.
My brain is exploding. I feel like you can see it.
Yeah, totally. Like, I wish this. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally a choice.
It's totally a choice. Mm-hmm. And so what do we do? Meagan, what do we do if we keep accidentally making that choice?
So that it's
what if that choice is choosing us?
That's okay. So, you know the episode of Sex and the City where I think it's Charlotte being like, I choose my choice. I choose my choice. And she's like
Yes.
fighting. I think she's fighting with Carrie or Miranda. Anyway, you can still choose your choice, right? I still want to fix, well, I shouldn't even use the word fix. I want to heal my abs and I want less fat on my stomach. That's it. But it's not because it's flawed. It's just because it's been a result of how I've been treating my body. That's it. It's just a result of the actions I've been taking. And that's okay. I still want to get rid of it and I want to heal the ab separation. There's no problem. Because it's coming from a place of love and acceptance and knowing that this is a choice. I don't have to. I choose to. Very different.
Yeah. And and just that, I mean, we don't have to, we choose to.
Mm-hmm. And so when we think that we have to, that things get real sticky. And then we get into the why. We don't have to.
This is, so where my brain is going is, Jeremy and I have had this conversation because I was married before, right? So Jeremy, this is my second and forever marriage.
Perfect.
And, you know, he used to sometimes make jokes about like being stuck with me or I'm stuck with him or something like that. You know, 'cause, I mean, listen, we signed paperwork. We made a promise in front of our friends, but we also signed like a business agreement, like some legal documents, right?
Yeah.
But I say to him, I'm like, no, it's a choice every single day. I do not have to stay here. You do not have to stay here. Like, I mean, now legally, and now that we have a kid, you actually do have some obligations to me, but you don't have to stay here, and neither do I. It is a choice every single day.
Right.
That even when things get less ideal, you know, sort of like whatever the marriage equivalent of, you know, the result of not sleeping well, the cortisol levels, eating foods that don't serve your body. Listen, I have IBS, so it's like when I don't eat the foods that are nurturing to my body, I really run the risk of actually shitting in my pants. Like there's a direct, right? So that's a sign that we're not doing well. Whatever the marriage version of that, like it's like we have a choice to nurture this or not, and we can see what's going on, and then we can choose the more nurturing thing because we choose to.
Choose. Exactly.
It is a choice. Like I was in a marriage where that choice was not made.
Right.
It was a have to. And that ended in a divorce. A peaceful one, but still.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
You know.
Yeah.
It's not good. That, you know what like it didn't end anywhere great, except that now I love my life and that part's great.
Perfect. Yes. Yes. Right. Because things are going to happen in your marriage. Like stuff is going to get stressful. Like Matt and I have done 3 renovations together. We've had 3 babies. We've moved 3, all these 3s. It's weird. But like stuff gets stressful. Stuff gets stressful and we choose to be a team. And with your body, the hormones, we're going to get sick, not be able to work out. Maybe we have an injury. Maybe you have children, like all of these things. Your body
maybe your mom falls.
Maybe your mom falls. Shit's going to go haywire. But if you choose to be in a partnership with your body, listen to it and respond accordingly, it's going to feel way better. than trying to fight against it and be you at 25. And by the way, when I was 25, whoa, I was not smoking hot. I was partying my face off, trying to keep my shit together. I had cystic acne. We were drunk all the time. I had a very stressful job. I was in media sales. I was working for, well, it's Clear Channel. It's iHeart now. You might know that being in the well, I worked for Z100 in New York.
Z100.
That was a couple years later, but like the Boston equivalents here. And I didn't get to like my body that I like wanted to be until I started to, I keep saying nurture and nourish, but until I started to nurture and nourish my body. I wanted to heal my cystic acne. I wanted to get a hold of my IBS, which is opposite of yours. Like I don't poop.
Saying that, the way I said that was like, oh, I wish, but like, I don't. They both suck.
No, I wish grass is greener. I'm like, oh, I would love to shit my pants. the relief. But I learned this. I learned that lesson. Like, okay, if I'm working with my body and working on healing, and then I worked on healing and became a partner with my body, and then the weight that I didn't want was like, oh, I get to be released. I don't have to hold on to it anymore. And so then I got the body I wanted by loving the body that I had, right?
Yes. And instead of fighting with your body, really be like, and when you said like nurture and nourish, it's really being in relationship, a healthy relationship with your body where you are communicating, you collaborate, you compromise, you know, when appropriate.
Yeah,
you have boundaries, but there are boundaries that invite in love rather than keeping each other separated.
Exactly. Yeah. And also during that time, I was over exercising. I had a trainer. I was going crazy with these workouts. And again, my cortisol was still high. So it was like, there was no communication. I turned off all communication and was like, nope, this is what I have to do. This is where I have to go. Shut up, body. Deal with it.
You know this. You know this also because you work with us, that you are not alone. Right. And I know you listening, you're like, oh yeah, did Meagan read my journal the way Alyssa's creeping on my journal? Like she knows. And it's like, yeah, we know. Because it's also all of these things that we feel like we're maybe the only ones, that we're doing something wrong, that it's, you know, us not being able to whatever. You're not. You are not the only one. We are all in this. And the more that we can talk about it, the more it also shows each other that we are not alone. This is a very real product of having the female experience. Right? In our society, with the expectations that are put on us, the shame, the disgust, the embarrassment, but we're also conditioned not to talk about or admit to or share, because that's then a sign of weakness, which then also damages our value and worth as people who bear children, whether or not you want to bear children, right? Because that's how like society classifies us. All of these things. And we can really like having these conversations is such an important first step in shifting that narrative for ourselves, for each other, and for future generations, but also like in honor of those who came before us.
Truly. Yeah. I mean, we talked about, you know, the vagina in the beginning, and our parents didn't have that conversation, and they certainly weren't having these conversations. Like,
no.
You were expected to lose the baby weight. You were expected to go on the low fat diet in the 80s and 90s. Like that was just what you did. That's what everybody did. And now we get to be like, oh, wait, this is a choice. I don't have to do that shit.
Yeah, that's 100%. And that's what popped into my head was also like, you know, you didn't have a choice but to lose the baby weight, because if you didn't, your husband would leave you.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the narrative, right? Yeah.
And that stuff is insidious. Like, as much as like that isn't like the temperature around like our generation, that chip is still in there. And it's in these I'm saying it, mindset shifts where we can start to like reprogram that chip.
Truly. Right.
Or and disrupt the messages from it and do something else. Because like you said, all of this, we do have a choice.
We do have a choice. Yeah.
We have a choice on the volume. Like it might still pop into your head, but we can turn down the volume.
Turn down the volume. I was coaching in one of my group coaching programs called Abundant Body. And a lot of it is like women comparing themselves to each other. And one woman specifically was talking about this work event that she had to go to with her husband, and all of the women are like dressed to the nines and really thin and really like all done up and perfect. And it came down to like her insecurity was that she was feeling like she wasn't enough, and her husband was looking at the other women like they were better than her. That was her fear.
Right.
But it wasn't a reality. We broke it down more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And I was like, on paper, are any of those men more attractive than your husband? She's like, yeah, I mean, a couple of them. Like, one looks like Brad Pitt. I'm like, do you want to leave your husband? She's like, God, no. I said, okay. So that's the first layer. That's the first layer of this. Good to know, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's totally a choice, and it's understanding like we don't have to be jealous of other women because they look a certain way or do a certain thing or are smaller or are more Botox or have, implants or whatever. Like, we get to be us in all of the beauty and the flaws and all of that. They get to be them. We get to be us, and we're different. And that's good and okay. And our value isn't necessary. Our value is never placed in our body.
Yes. Yes. I'll have what she's having. Meagan, tell us, where can we get more of you?
Oh my gosh, get more of me, please. Okay, so you can find me. I got more to give, people. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram. Pretty much everyone's named Meagan Fitzgerald. So it's Meg, M-E-G, Fitz, F-I-T-Z .Gerald. So megfitz.gerald.
This will also be in the show notes for an easy
access.
Yes.
I'm easy. Cool. You can find me meaganfitzgerald.com, and Meagan is spelled M-E-A-G-A-N. And there you can have all the links to programs, to my workouts. I have a platform called The Set, where it's mindset. Boom, you love it. Mindset and movement. Yes. So there's weekly workouts, there's monthly workshops, and it's a lot more of this. And it's like me live teaching with some Q&A, with some coaching. And then all workouts with really important like thought work woven in. You'll never hear me say, and Alyssa, I'm sure you're very similar, right? You'll never hear me say to get a smaller waist, to get longer, leaner, to do that. No, it's to feel better, to build confidence, to be mobile, to be strong, to be all of that. So it's a different approach than what we're used to. So meganfitzgerald.com or at megfitz.gerald. I'm on TikTok, but I don't really pay attention. So forget that.
It's so many platforms.
I can't.
I can't.
I'm like, find me on Pinterest and LinkedIn. And please don't. Just do those two.
Please don't find me on Pinterest. Don't look for me. I don't know what I'm doing.
So good.
Love it. Meagan, thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom and your beautiful energy. You are a gift from heaven.
Oh my God. I feel the same about you. Thank you so much for having me. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you so much for sharing your time with me and listening to the end of this episode. Look at you. You're someone who finishes what they start. I love that about you. And if you're picking up what I'm laying down, be sure to visit me over at alissaalter.com for more resources on how you can alter your life, like downloading the 5-minute meditation that I use to start my day with confidence and ease, all before getting out of bed. See you next week.